Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our ASM show. Let's introduce the panel. We've got Sarah. What's going on, Sarah?
Hey, it's going good.
Round two we're going to tackle. And back for more fun is JR. What's going on, JR?
Yeah, just enjoying a little Diet Mountain Dew and a Baby Ruth candy bar. So, carry on.
Editor's note, see previous episode of Spider News to understand what JR is referencing. And we also have back Josh. What's going on, Josh?
Hey, how's it going? This is going to be fun. I got my Brad's Ridiculous quote document up and ready, so I'm good to go.
You got a few new ones after last episode.
Oh, yeah. We got the hold on to your butts, unlike this guy. And, well, I'm not going to say the other one, but it was Snoop Dogg, so.
Yeah. And our newest ASM reviewer on the front page of the Crawlspace is Craig, a.k.a. Hornacek. What's going on, Craig?
Woo! Yes!
Who booed him? He just got here.
Hello, thank you for having me. And Brad, I just want to say thank you for the Crawlspace shirt that you sent me.
Let me see what you've done. Oh, there you go.
Can you see it?
I do. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think something happened during shipping, so it may have fallen apart or something. I don't know. Yeah, I thought about this 5 minutes ago,
Mike is going to be joining us in a few. Adam goes, wow, I can say I knew Hornacek when he was a comments guy. Yeah, there you go. The Netta said, talk about the current issues. Brace yourself. Hey, Hornacek. Josh, did you change shirts? Kelly, he did have a wardrobe change, Kelly. He did.
Yep. Yeah, that suit is hot.
I bet it is. George is watching it up on his big screen right now. So hello, George, watching it. Michael Reed goes, that ain't Mountain Dew. So Craig is going to start us off. We've got 2 issues that we're going to be reviewing tonight. The first one that we've got is ASM 28. So take me through that. And Mike just DM'd me that he's here. Oh, it helps if I send him the link to join us. Hold on. I swore, Mike, I sent you that. There, Mike, you can join us. Feel free. Here. He will be in just shortly. We'll put some comments up until Mike gets on. Let's see. Diabetic Superman says, hey, everyone. George says, the review crew reading awful stories so we don't have to. Michael Reed says, can a big TV handle JR? I don't think the internet can handle JR. Adam says, let Mike in. Let Mike in. Oh, that's insulting to Josh. He looks better than James Franco. What are you talking about, Mike?
I actually get that. I get that one. I get Pete. I look like Pete Davidson and I sound like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
Hiccup. I've never heard that. Gary in the Frozen. I hope JR is recapping the last issue. He is indeed. It's Craig and JR reviewing the main 2, and we'll talk about him. Ryan says, JR on the big screen. His time has come. I heard a click. That must be Mike. Cover your ears, everybody. Mike, let's see if your mic works the first time.
Does it?
No, it doesn't. Oh, wait a minute. There it is. It's back.
It is work. Okay.
Okay,
it does
there
work?
it is. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Craig got the hell out of there. He's not even in the frame anymore.
I just noticed how dark it was at my place. So.
Oh yeah.
Your
it's
backlit
well.
up. You got the lights behind you, not in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mike is not in high def tonight. He is indeed. He's in high definition.
It's sort of high definition. How about that?
No, I'm sending a 1080 signal out. You're in high def, baby.
Yeah. Okay. I'll count. I'll take it.
Let's see. All right, Craig, you have ASM. What's the legacy on this one? 922. Take me through this.
922. All right. So wouldn't it be a flex if I said, just go to the front page and read my review and said, that's it, I'm done?
You can now say that. That's very good. That is a flex.
No, I won't do that. All right. So 922.
You just did.
You're going to edit that out, though, right?
Heck no, it's live, baby.
Brad, editing? Yeah,
all
right.
All right, Amazing Spider-Man number 28, Legacy 922, written by Zeb Wells, penciler Ed McGuinness, and inker Mark Farmer, whose name ring the bell. Was he an inker back in the 80s? Mark Farmer? Or
An anchor, like a news anchor?
An inker.
No,
Inker.
Yeah.
Oh, Inker.
Yeah.
Got it. No, maybe.
I don't know. I saw that name and I was like, oh, that like Terry Austin is a name that I remember from the 80s a lot. Seeing a lot. Anyway, so those are the credits. On the cover, we had Doc Ock with his tentacles wrapped around Spidey and Gold Goblin. It actually occurs in this issue. I feel bad about anyone having to review an issue on this episode with a cover that does not contain anything that happens in the issue. But
that's true. That's true.
All right, so like most of this run, there's no title for this issue, but I just took an example of the Uncanny X-Men issue where Kitty Pryde says Professor Xavier's a jerk, and I decided that the title of this issue is "We've Got a Man Down" because it's the first bit of dialogue that we see in this issue.
Okay, yeah, that's the name of the title.
So
we got
Jonah
a man down. There you go.
That's so as far as I'm concerned, that's the title of this issue.
Sounds good.
So we see Jonah barging into Oscorp, pushing a shopping cart and looking for Peter. And I have a quick question here. Can you scroll back up to the secretary?
Yeah.
So we see the logo for Oscorp. Is this the first time we've seen this logo, this specific logo for Oscorp? Because I saw this and I'm like, that looks a bit weird because there's no line. There's a vertical line missing in the R and the P.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
It
saw
looks
that
like Osco question mark and then somebody.
JR, tell me about the logo. Have we seen this?
Not that I recall, but maybe Liz and Alchemex has the copyright or the trademark on the original logo. Since this is a brand new Oscorp.
It is. It's brand new. BNO, brand new Oscorp. I just saw that and I was like, oh, that looks strange. The vertical lines are missing. So I went to Google and Google says that in logo design, vertical lines associate with strength and sophistication, while horizontal lines create senses of tranquility and calm. So does this mean that because the Oscorp logo has no vertical lines, it has no strength and sophistication? Or does it just mean that it was just an artistic choice by Ed McGuinness? I just thought of that. Anyway, Jonah Rush
considering that the secretary looks a little more than like a stick figure, I'd almost say the artist just gave up.
And that is the official ruling.
Yes.
The artist gave up.
The artist gave up. So Jonah Rush attacked the secretary and the
5 minutes on the logo and JR zings it out.
The artist gave up.
This just in, the jury's back. The artist gave up. Moving on. Go ahead. We got JR with a shopping cart of regret. I've been there.
Yeah. The mangled remains of Dr. Octopus's old tentacles. And Jonah is obviously upset, as one would be when showing off pieces of metal that have been ripped apart. The correct emotional response for that. Jonah says that the tentacles showed up on his doorstep and asked Peter to put them back together. And Norman demands that they be removed as they belong to Dr. Octopus. And Jonah asks Norman what the tentacles ever did to him. And he says, they tried to kill me many times. And I was thinking, did they? I wasn't really sure. I mean, besides the two-part Superior team-up story and then the end of Goblin
Yeah,
Nation, has Doc Ock tried to kill
Osborn and Ock don't have many interactions.
Times?
No, they don't. I think I think the first one they had canonic was it Superior Spider-Man Team Up or something like that, where there were two issues where Otto visited Norman while he was still in seclusion. Then there was and then there was Marvel Knights Spider-Man, where Ock had been programmed to kill Osborn. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought that too many times. I mean, strangely enough, for a comic, that's 60 years old, Spider-Man's two greatest villains interacted very, very, very seldom. So,
All right, keep going, Craig. Craig, you there? Did Craig freeze?
No, I think he's looking. He's looking. Ah, there we go.
Craig. Your internet.
Oh, no, my internet. JR was
here.
talking, and then he stopped talking. Okay, all right. So sorry for that.
That never happened.
All right, so yeah. So Jonah rightfully points out that Norman has changed to the good side. So why can't these inanimate objects? And Peter agrees with Jonah and convinces Norman to help. And I did laugh at Jonah doing a Nelson Muntz laugh at Norman and saying "Atta Goblin" because he got the better of him in this logic debate. Meanwhile, Craven is examining one of Doc Ock's new Octoids. I guess Marvel wants us to forget that this is a clone of Craven, but and just pretend that this has always been the original one. But yeah, this is not the real Craven, folks. So Ock explains that his old tentacles expressed an important part of my personality I found hiding in the ventral medial cortices of my prefrontal lobe. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? Well, Google says that the ventral medial prefrontal cortex functions in emotion regulation by encoding emotional stimuli and by regulating anxiety and fear extinction. So I guess this means that Ock thinks his old tentacles were too emotional. He says that his new tentacles are all amygdala, which again, I was like, is this a new word that I've never heard of? It turns out it is. Are all amygdala, pure aggression to fuel my revenge. So off to Google, which says that the amygdala is commonly thought to form the core of a neural system for processing fearful and threatening stimuli, including detection of threat and activation of appropriate fear-related behaviors in response to threatening or dangerous stimuli. So it sounds like Ock thinks that these new tentacles are all about reacting to threats. Craven
Or the writer and Ock went to the internet.
Yeah.
Yes, and Googled give me brain-sounding random words I can use in the story.
Because I gotta go to work. Gotta go to work.
Yeah. Craven isn't impressed with the Octoid and throws it away, and then he's suddenly attacked by the Octoids, which are all saying "garble, garble." More about this later, but I'm not sure if attacked is the right word. They don't seem to be hurting him. It looks more like a bunch of puppies are all pouncing on him. You know, the meme of like Chris Pratt from Parks and Recreation, where he has all the dogs or the cats on him. He's like, "Oh, I'm covered with puppies," or "I'm covered with cats." I don't know. These Octoids right here attacking Craven don't look all that threatening to me, but Craven
they look like
is
boogers.
incensed.
They look like Pokemon is what they look like.
I think it looks like a Ghostbusters slime thing. Like you got slime.
all that slime leaving. I don't know. Hopefully it's not leaving slime everywhere. And Ock literally orders his Octoids to heal, giving more credence to the puppy analogy. So he tells Craven that he brought him the key to my revenge, which I guess is a reference to the Spider-Man and Venom Free Comic Book Day issue, which I did not read, so I don't know what this means, but we get a hint about it later in the issue about what exactly Craven did, and Ock tells him to leave because he served his purpose to promote the new trailer of his movie coming from Sony Pictures later this year. True. And we get the splash page of Doc Ock here with all the Octoids forming into his new tentacles. Jonah is in the waiting room, and Peter enters the room wearing a doctor's hat and a mask because he's been operating on a person. Oh, wait, he's actually been repairing the old tentacles. My notes say, why is he wearing a doctor's mask? Is he afraid that he'll cough or breathe on the tentacles? Wouldn't a welder's mask be more appropriate for the work that he's doing here? But I guess Peter just watched Grey's Anatomy, so he thought this is the type of outfit I should be wearing when doing surgery on pieces of metal.
He's mixed spider instead of mixed steamy.
Peter says that the tentacles are all fixed and Norman is finished.
My
Peter
jokes
says
are
that
funnier when the
tentacles
lag
are
isn't
fixed and
there.
Norman is finishing them up,
Or
and
maybe they're
Jonah
not.
is
I don't
very
know.
emotional about the tentacle safety around Norman. Unlike every other podcast,
There's like a 5 to 10 second delay, Greg. I'm just going to be quiet and let you go, bro. Keep going.
So Jonah is very emotional about the tentacle safety around Norman. He still doesn't fully trust them. And in a very problematic scene, Jonah says, maybe they started coming around my place more often just to stay out of the rain. Then maybe for a warm place to sleep. And maybe I tried to chase them off at first. But maybe I started looking forward to them coming around, curling up on the bed, keeping my feet warm. And in my notes, I have Jonah needs a pet or a girlfriend because this scene is very weird.
Gog.
Peter resists the urge to call Jonah a weirdo and instead calls him an old softie. Norman, who is not wearing a doctor's hat or mask, finishes putting the tentacles back together, but they suddenly go berserk for no apparent reason that we know of so far. Norman yells at the tentacles, telling them that he's trying to help them, and they connect one of the diagnostic cables, or they remove it. I'm not exactly sure what it's doing with the cable here, but all of a sudden, all of Norman's computers say "system compromised," the big letters on the screen, just like every computer screen does whenever something goes wrong. Then we switch to see Doc Ock outside of Oscorp, and he can tell that his old tentacles had disrupted Oscorp systems. So at this point, you're wondering, wait, are the old tentacles working with Doc Ock, or are they like, did they sneak in an actual like a virus or something? Who knows? We don't know yet. But Doc Ock says, if you take from Otto Octavius, don't put your name on the building, not if you expect to keep it. So he enters the building with his octoids gwarbling ahead of him, grumble, grumble, grumble. The secretary bravely tries to stop Doc Ock because he doesn't have an appointment. In my notes, I have like she is the real hero of this issue. But the octoids swarm all over her, and as a the final insult, email her ex. One of the other employees' legs, which is just disturbing on so many levels. I don't even want to think about what's going on there. He's on my computer. He's dealing with my ex. Norman radios Peter and tells him that the old tentacles were a Trojan horse, and not only is Otto's code in the system, but Doc Ock is here in the building. He's here! Oh my God! He's in the building! Get out! Get out! But Norman's confident. He says the security doors are too strong for Ock to open. There's no way he's going to open the door. Cue 2 seconds later, Doc Ock getting the octoids to use their global power and to link up and grab the door and rip it off its hinges. So the security system says that the countermeasures have been initiated, and Doc Ock is immediately amuse-bouche. And I'm thinking, what is an amuse-bouche? Well, Google defines it as a single bite-sized hors d'oeuvre. Amuse-bouches are different from appetizers in that they are not ordered from a menu by patrons, but are served free and according to the chef's selections alone. So, word for the day. But Doc Ock is hit by the one countermeasure he was not prepared for. Say it with me, folks. Bug. Everyone's new favorite sidekick. And Doc Ock speaks for all the readers by asking, "Dear sweet holy God, what is that?"
It's an accessory.
So Spidey tells Doc Ock that its name is Bug, and somewhere Spider Boy is crying, realizing that Bug is more of Spider-Man's sidekick than he is.
Sarah, do you have a bug?
Spidey
let me look at Sarah's bug.
Refuses and orders octoids
Bug.
to swarm.
What's up, Bug?
You have Bug? Oh, that's a cute bug. So Ock orders this octoids all to swarm. I don't know what's happening in this panel. Is this some weird green circular force field that's appearing around Doc Ock?
Something like that. Yeah, we'll just call that.
I think he's got gas.
Yeah. if you've ever seen the old show from the 60s, The Prisoner, they had that big giant weather balloon. It reminded me of that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
The rover.
Anyway, the octoids. Yeah. Rover was that giant weather balloon. So the octoids warble all over Spidey, and I will never get tired of saying warble here, who is unfamiliar with them and their tactics. So Spidey orders Bug to get him some schematics on the octoids. In my notes, I say I don't know how he expects Bug to do this, since how is Bug supposed to have schematics on the octoids, which are brand new to him? But in the most shocking moment in the past 50 years of Spidey comics, Bug dies. Coming soon, fallen friend, the death of Bug. And the internet goes crazy.
R.I.P. Bug.
The octoids reassemble into tentacles and wrap around Spidey. R.I.P. Bug. Pour one out in the chat. Wrapping Spidey around the room, knocking him into the walls. Spidey is so shocked by the octoid's grovel power that all he can say is Gark, G-A-R-K. Ock is like a dog playing with his food and orders Spidey to give him one of your classic bon mots. And I'm thinking Doc Ock is using that's his second French phrase in this issue. So I'm thinking it's obvious that he's been expanding his horizons by learning upper class conversational French on the side. Spidey is unable to speak, but someone off panel says he's trying to say Norman.
Craig, don't forget the upside down kiss. There's an upside down kiss coming. No upside down kiss? Okay.
That's only in your fan section. That's only in your fan section, Brad.
Dang, sorry. It's available for our Patreon members.
So we turn and we see Norman in full Gold Goblin mode has entered the room, and he's
We don't want it.
And Ox smugly tells him, "Yep."
Keep going, Craig. Your internet. Come on.
Oh no! Patreon members do not sign up for that. All right. So Norman has entered the room, and he says, tells Ock that he can put him down, but Ock smugly says, "Do your worst." And Gold Goblin is about to act, but suddenly all of his systems are compromised. And Gold Goblin says that after Chasm's attack in the now classic Dark Web epic story, he wrote all his tech encryption. But Ock says that your stooge let one of his spider bombs come into my possession, which.
Come on, internet. What's up with Canadian internet, Josh?
Working fine for me. I don't know.
I
That's
know,
a Nova
right?
Scotia thing.
Craig's got to kick that internet in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Kinda
Norman gets taken out. There you go. And so Doc is taking out both of them right now. There we go. Craig, are you with us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We got a 20-second delay on Craig. Let's keep going. So Doc is fighting. Help me out, guys.
Well, so
he was almost at the end.
Well, basically, Doc Ock references a moment in Superior Spider-Man where he basically calls the Green Goblin the Goblin King, and it's like, wait a minute, he shouldn't remember that. So that's kind of the stinger. Like, how does he, And then we got.
Oh man.
Oh, are you back, Craig? Kinda. So here, and the last thing we'll talk about, Craig. Once we get you, we'll get you back. We've got the letter pages. We got one of our loyal viewers, Matt Roberts, Mr. Comics 89, was in the letters pages. Also, this gal got let's see, what is her name? Derek and Katie are engaged. He proposed. Well, I don't know if she said yes, actually. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. But she presented him with an Amazing Fantasy 15 comic, and in the letters pages, he proposed. So we're going to find out if those two are getting married. So let's go around the horn. Craig, can you hear me? Craig, can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. What's your grade on this one, sir?
My grade on this one is a C+.
C+. All right, let's go around the horn.
There's still things I didn't like about it.
Josh, what's your grade?
B-.
Yep. Mike, grade?
C-, actually.
Sarah, grade?
Also a C-.
JR?
The C.
C. Yeah, I'll give it a C also. Craig, what's your pros out of it?
Pros. I like Doc Ock here. It's classic evil Ock. He's not trying to pretend he's a good guy. He's smug and he's confident and he's monologuing a lot. I like the twist at the end that he's not here for Spider-Man, but Norman Osborn. I like him referencing Goblin Nation, although that brings up other problems, which I can get to in the cons. I like Jonah going to Peter for help with the tentacles. And while Jonah doesn't trust him,
Help me. What did Norman take away from Otto?
Okay, because remember in Superior. Okay, this is a reference to toward the last arc of Superior Spider-Man. Yeah. So where basically what happened is when Otto was doing all that. So when Norman Osborn was a Goblin King, he figured out that Otto Octavius took over the body of Spider-Man. And so what he did was he started systematically destroying all of his stuff and everything like this. So basically, Goblin King was the one guy who was able to defeat the Superior Spider-Man. And that's what ended up ultimately forced Otto to get Peter to reclaim his body, because he realized, Peter Parker's the only guy who could actually beat Norman. So he actually had to willingly give up. And that's kind of how Otto, quote unquote, died in that issue where he basically erased himself and gave Peter his body back, and so it's referencing that. It's referencing that last arc hole, that whole last arc. So
see, I thought he was. I thought he was referencing the second volume of Superior Spider-Man. He was just like confusing the two Normans because they have that one Spider Norman that comes in and essentially
because you'll see it in the next issue where he's actually showing this, where he's actually gets that when in the next issue where he's just showing that stuff in the on the helmet thing, which we will talk about later on. So but that's what the reference is. That's how he kind of.
Craig, what's some other pros out of you on this one?
So I said that I liked Jonah going to Peter with for help with the old tentacles, and I like that he accepts Norman's help even though he doesn't trust him. And he also calling out Norman on his hypocrisy about saying that the tentacles were evil when Norman himself used to be evil. So I thought that was good for Norman, or good for Jonah. Sorry. I like McGinnis's art, except for one small part of it, which I can get to in the cons, and. There was no mention of any of the stuff that I have not been liking in the previous issues, like Kamala.
Yeah, there's no Mary Jane. There's no
Black Cat, Paul, or MJ.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
no Ms. Marvel. You got to go to the press releases to find that
none
info.
of that stuff had happened if you just pick this issue up randomly. And the issue made me want to read the next issue, which has not always been the case in this run.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. Other pros. Let's open it up. Sarah, what'd you like about it?
I really like the banter between Jonah and Norman. When he said "Atta Goblin," I knew there was a heart beating in there somewhere. I'm so here for that. I can't wait to see more of those two characters interacting. And it's so funny to see the tables turn on Jonah, you know what I mean? Like just see him be so different now. Although I feel like I'm living in a twilight zone when I read this book sometimes, like it's like disconnected from reality. I am kind of interested in the new look for Ock's arms. Although the design isn't like my favorite thing in the world, I do think it's an interesting thing for Ock to have upgraded his own equipment.
Well, I remember he did that back in the 90s with adamantium. He made adamantium arms.
It's been a while though, you know.
Yeah. This reminds me too much of Iron Man where all the pieces come apart. I think that's what they're kind of trying to copy a little bit, where he's like, to me, my arms. And like, I envision like Iron Man's armor coming to him. So
it's also like the spider bots he used, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I kind of like and don't like the arms here. I mean, I like the concept behind them, the idea that the tentacles are actually can separate into different segments. I mean, that seems like, if you want to kind of update the tentacles and everything, I mean, you could do something like that. Like maybe there's like nanotech and everything, like nanotech that kind of separates into different segments and everything like that. That's cool. I just don't like the look of them, the way McGinnis draws them. Because like I said, I jokingly say that they look like Pokemon. These are supposed to be like, they don't look threatening at all. They look like, oh, how cute and cuddly these little things are. They go around little grobble and everything like this. I mean, it's a little bit.
Is that slime? What is the green stuff?
The green
it's
stuff.
It's a steel and ghost type. That's what it is.
It's a what?
It's magic science stuff, Brad. It's basically what basically what Ock explained it. It's supposed to be like nanotech goo that basically that kind of like that holds all that stuff together. That he's somehow basically it's a way of like making it so that it looks cool, but at the same time it's just like the way the design of the arms, because he's supposed to be like the eyes supposed to be like the little suckers on the Ock's tentacles, but when they separate, it looks too cute. It doesn't look like it's too much. Like I said, it's too like the whole. It's too cute and cuddly looking for something supposed to be like menacing and everything. It just looks kind of silk. It looks too silk.
It looks like a trans. Here, Neil, I'm talking about Transformers. Get ready. It looks like Devastator, like all the little pieces come together to form one big Ock arm, right?
Yeah,
and it's green like Devastator. So they're supposed to look like little octopuses, huh?
Right, and I think the thing is, the problem is, I mean, I'm sure in the script, I don't know if Wells was trying to say, make sure that these things look kind of, it's just the way McGinnis draws these things. They look too cute for somebody like, they look too cute and cuddly for somebody like Doc Ock, when they're supposed to be like, you know, and even that part where they basically swarm around the office, like, oh my gosh, one of these things is crawling up my leg and everything. It's like, It's like,
that one looks
Tommy
like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Am
I seeing a turkey? Am I? This Rorschach
I can kind of, I can kind of see.
You see a
turkey?
turkey?
Oh yeah,
there?
the way, yeah.
I'll
Although
take a
definitely,
wing.
if that's what your Thanksgiving turkey looks like, Brad, I think you need to.
Yeah, you need to put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the issue where Doc Ock's arms like turned into a little heart? You guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who did the art for that book?
McGinnis did that one too.
Okay, all right.
It was 900.
Is there a connection there? Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't particularly care for the arcs. I mean, the arms being sentient, like and loving on Jonah. I don't. That's more of a con for me. I just don't dig it. I don't get that.
It's weird.
JR, we haven't heard the pros out of you out of this issue. What you gave it a C, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my one pro, which unfortunately wasn't. It looks like it's just going to be wasted and ruined. Is that we really haven't had. I like to see Norman and Otto go mano a mano because both of them believe they're smarter than the other. They both believe they're the smartest person in the room, and it's not only it not only would be a battle of physical strength or whatever, but also of egos and things. So it's always I think it's long overdue for Norman and Otto to kind of cross up. In Spider-Man comics, I would say that's my pro.
What do you think of?
But that's about the only one.
What do you think of Ock taking out Norman so easy?
It's Ock's a genius too. Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, it's like these guys are. Norman did him in during Goblin Nation. You knew that. Doc wasn't going to take that lying down. His ego was going to be pretty damaged. Now I just, to me, it's natural. I mean, Norman one-ups him, and then Otto comes back and one-ups Norman.
Yeah. So, have we heard, Josh? Have we heard your pros?
No. Like I think it was Craig that was saying is that compared to the stuff that happened all leading up to these issues, like it was kind of a nice break not having to deal with the mess that went on, especially on the internet, of everything going on leading up to like issue 26. Like it was like, okay, I can kind of, I liked it. I'm actually like somewhat enjoying a Spider-Man comic again. This is nice. I do agree. It is a little cutesy of the arm thing, but I kind of like it would be kind of more fitting on like actually Spidey and his amazing friends. Like if that was the Doc Ock of that, little kids show, then yeah, that would make sense. But the part where Jonah, the whole like, oh, it's kind of like a pet thing. It's dumb, but it kind of reminded me of my dad when we got a dog for a bit. So I'll give me a slight chuckle there.
All right, cons, Craig. What do you got for cons?
None.
Okay. He loved the book.
I'll
give him a couple more seconds before my internet gets.
Sorry, talking to me.
There, yeah, Craig, yeah. Cons, go ahead.
Hello, yes. Cons. As
what are you, Captain Kirk? Con!
The sentience of the old tentacles, I really don't like. It's my biggest con.
I know, right?
I just don't like it. It's weird. Like in the 70s and 80s, we had stories where the tentacles were disconnected from Ock, and he was like controlling them mentally, like across the city, or the tentacles were trying to get back to Ock, just describing them as a puppy, hanging out with Jonah for companionship, like whimpering going to him for help. I don't
dig that either. I don't dig that either.
Just be your.
Vinkman says another con is Craig's internet.
That and the wobble wobble reminded me of the Hamburglar in the old McDonald's commercial.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Grobble grobble. Yes, I remember that. The Hamburglar.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to actually watch this.
Well, Mike,
Robble,
cons. What do you got?
Okay.
What the Hamburger would say.
My con is this. I mean, obviously, you touched a little bit on the arms here, like I make silly about that. I mean, I like them, but I don't. But the other thing is that whole Craven scene. That whole Craven scene, for example, that one is there. You first of all, you had to read the free comic book day in order to understand what the reference was. But second, ultimately, the free comic book day. Craven's appearance. Obviously, it's referencing how Ock got a hold of the same Octoball and thing, but it's ultimately kind of pointless because it's like, oh, Craven just shows up. Hey, because he's going to show up in a later story that Wells is going to be writing, and that's the only reason why he's there, and also to show how vicious these new arms are and everything. But it's really like, does Craven doesn't really have to be there at all. It's just more like, it's just showing like, hey, Wells is saying, hey kids, there's a Craven story coming up later on that it's going to be very important in where Spider-Man goes crazy, maybe. So, keep reading. And it's like, okay, great. All right. So again, why is that relevant to this story? Don't know. But that's pretty much my.
It's just a follow up. It's a follow up to ASM 900.
Happens in the next issue too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it does it with Recraft.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on that. Sarah, cons on you?
Yeah, I agree with the other things that have been said as well. But something different. I'm not entirely sure that Norman would not have any sort of protocol or something to protect him from something that could happen with Doc Ock's arms when Jonah brings him in. I just feel like he would be being as what's the word? Tentative or skeptical as he was to even take them in the first place.
Yeah,
he would have prep time.
Thinks about 15 steps ahead, and it seems like he was taken out a little quick, in my opinion.
Yeah,
also.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to hear JR's opinion, but JR doesn't seem like he was that offended as I was. But
no, I've saved my offense for issue 29.
Okay. Okay. JR, what any other cons out of you?
Well,
this one that has been said?
Nothing particularly original that what anybody else hadn't said. I mean, it's kind of, it seems sometimes almost disingenuous, to say that, there's too much silliness in a comic book because I mean, it's a comic book. Come on,
yeah.
We accept a lot of absurdities, but no, I agree. The thing with Jonah and the arms curling, keeping his, that's just creepy. That's not amusing, or it's creepy, and then the green booger octoids,
Yeah.
I mean, it's and plus that they talk, and it's just dumb. It's silly. I don't think that I don't think that Doc Ock would somebody actually, the question about, Norman getting taken out easily. Gary in the Frozen asked me who was smarter, Norman or Otto, and I'd say I'd say Otto probably. I would think though that Norman, obviously makes up for that with his insanity and his really bad temper. But I don't see Ock as creating cute little fuzzy gooey things. That just doesn't seem to be Doc Ock, So they're just silliness. It's like there's just a lot of silliness in this title.
All right, Josh, what's your cons?
Honestly, I think I pretty much have the same con as JR. It's just that it's a little, given the fact that we just came out of the last event that we kind of just had, it was like, all right, uber super forced seriousness, and then all right, let's make it super silly and just a little aggressively kind of what if we did this, and then here's a dumb idea, let's run with it. And it's a bit much too far. That again, it is like JR said, it's comic books. You got to accept a little bit, but
the book is all over the place. It's very street level to start off with Tombstone and Hobgoblin. Then it goes to gods and judging yourselves with the X-Men, and then we have the X-Men, and then we go to hell, and now we're back to where are we? We're back at street level stuff again. Like it's up and down. It's up and down. It's all over the place.
Well, that's why I said I feel like I'm living in a Twilight Zone reading this book. Like, what is happening?
It's a what if? What if Doc Ock got new arms? What if Spider-Man had a clone and went to hell? What if it just is not like there's a consistent story that wants to be told? It's like squirrel, 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 squirrel. Like there's so many distractions to this book. It's just insane. And I agree, JR. I don't like the Ghostbuster slime arms. I really don't like it. I don't think it looks visually cool. It looks like a joke. I think the metal arms, and I think upgrading them to adamantium in the 90s was cool. Like that, that you really can't, even the Hulk couldn't bust through them, like in that Eric Larson story. But anyway, before we move on to the next book, Heroic Age gives it a C-. It's the worst of the Mackie Byrne run crossed with Brand New Day, says Adam. C- says Diabetic Superman. D, says Josh. So those are some of the grades from chat. All right, JR, you've got this next one. We are moving on to the second review. And I did this one because it's got a lot of Norman in it. A little bit more than the previous issue. So here you go, JR. Take me through Legacy 923 ASM.
Well, I remember when Brad was setting this episode up, and he asked me what issue he wanted me to review. One of the issues, asked me which one I wanted to review. And against my better judgment, I told him, well, since I haven't read either one, just go ahead and give me any one you want. Well, that's about as dangerous as letting Brad choose news stories.
That's why you got the crapping burglar in the last episode.
So, he gives me the issue where Norman acts like a whiny little bitch.
Sounds perfect for you, buddy.
Anyway, the issue opens with J. Jonah Jameson making his way through the city using Doc Ock's old metal arms, carrying an injured and slowly awakening Spider-Man in an homage to the classic Amazing Fantasy 15.
Here, I'll pull it up. Here we go. There you go. ASM 15. There's not a dude up on the building, though. Watched him.
Oh,
yeah. Probably because it's nighttime. But anyway, that's a little nitpick.
And I'm not sure where I find that moment dumb or amusing. But anyway, Jonah. I'm assuming
you see the Kirby sign back here?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Easter egg hunting Brad.
There you go.
So they go to what I'm going to assume is Jonah's apartment, and Spider-Man, tells Jonah that Octavius has Norman Osborn. So the scene shifts to Doc Ock's hideout, where Doc is basically, these are the scenes from that Mike was referencing at the end of Goblin Nation. And I think how Norman found out that it was, I think it was Carly Cooper's diary or journal or something.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
That Norman got a hold of, and Carly had written that, Spider-Man's body had been taken over by Dr. Octopus. However, she, to Osborn's consternation, she didn't write who the body belonged to. But then,
that's convenient.
So Norman, so Sir Norman was saying, I'm going to take everything from you. Shay Octavius, the house where you grew up. Boom! The lab where you had your octopus-related accident. Boom! All of Doc Ock's greatest inventions under lock and key. Boom! And the bottling plant where you saved all those people from being
all together now.
Boom! And those metal arms, based on your own designs, so pathetically easy to hijack for a real genius. Anyway.
Hey, give me a Norman Arger. Jesus, it's like you pulled your groin.
Oh, speaking of which, I should have warmed up.
Speaking of which, what are you talking about? What are you doing?
We're warming up.
Oh,
what in the? You're gonna hurt yourself, JR. JR. Oh my God! What are you doing?
Well, Josh made me feel.
Not watching.
Josh is your stunt double. You're the actor, Harrison Ford. Come on.
Josh was making me feel pretty insecure about my physical fitness. When he was jumping up and doing the Jackie Chan. And so I was. I was kind of feeling pretty bad. So I just realized I need to get into shape, and I. So do a little workout before I.
Oh my God!
Oh man!
Wow.
Anyway,
Mr. Comics, congrats on being in the letters pages. by the way. That's cool, man.
All right. So, but anyway, so.
By the way, Norman just saw what JR did, and this is his reaction.
So basically, what this is this is
Octavius this is what this is.
Octavius. Well, what it is the boogers are attacking. Octo's
only Kleenex man would come
Norman. By. And what Norman was what Otto was trying to do was recapture some of his memories after the events of I shouldn't say it's not Superior Spider-Man. It was what was that called Superior Spider-Man when he was that other guy? He was in the clone body.
It was. It was a 12-issue.
Yeah, that was volume 2. Yeah, there was another. where he basically had to deal with
the Superior Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
No, not that one. There was another volume of Superior Spider-Man where Otto got himself a new clone body and was out in like San Francisco for a while. But then he reverted back to Doc Ock after making a deal with none other than Mephisto. Body back. Yeah. That's why he says that's why he's
classic Spidey villain, Mephisto.
I think it's something especially supernatural, like why I forgot all this stuff. But anyway.
So, but yeah, that's going back to the Mephisto thing. Again, this is just sloppy editing. Mm-hmm. But basically, 3 of the most important characters in Spider-Man have all made deals with Mephisto. Mm-hmm. Peter made one, Norman made one, Otto made one. Mephisto didn't belong in the book. It just Anyway, so
who's scared of Mephisto? I mean, who Mephisto's scared of? Mayday Parker. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. He didn't want her to be born. Right.
Yeah. That's who.
So, but what Otto's trying to do is reclaim his memories. He thinks that these devices and trying to, using the mind sifter, the Klingon mind sifter on Norman, is going to help him to regain his memories that he feels have been taken from him. And so
on the corner of Oxman.
But really, what Otto is really mad at is that apparently Norman beat him. And he just can't take that anymore. He just can't take it. It's just, it's eating at his soul or whatever. And, he goes, say it. I want you to say you're the one who's shamed. And then, of course, Norman goes, I'm the one who's shamed. And then Otto goes, oh, okay, you can go. Hey, wait a minute. So now he's promising even more elaborate torture on Norman. And then we go back to Spidey, Jonah, and the creepy ass arms, and it turns out.
Don't look down in there, Jonah.
It turns out these creepy ass arms have these creepy ass spikes on them too, and it's like, oh yeah, all they do is, I think they might be a spinal interface.
Hey, real quick, JR, what's this? Why does Norman have that on his desk?
Does Joni mean? Yeah.
Is that a symbiote?
I think this is Jonah, but they do go to Norman's apartment later, but I think this is still Jonah.
Jonah. I mean, why does Jonah have that on his desk?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe he's got a pet iguana. I mean, he obviously was dying for some companionship. If he was letting the tentacles curl up at the feet of his bed.
What do you got, Craig? Craig's got something. What, Craig?
There's another one right there.
Oh, another iguana. Maybe this is like McFarlane and the Felix, the cats.
It looks like Pascal from the Disney movie Tangled.
I thought you were talking about Pedro Pascal Daddy.
It's a reflection of how the readers are feeling right at that moment. Because look at that thing's face. I mean, not the moment. Like really, this is what we've been reduced to. Really, this. Yeah.
Yes, Zach. My ADD struck in. I was distracted by the lizard. Sounds like we're reviewing Shed. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, so the arms tried to attach to Spider-Man, and he's really not wanting them to do that. That would be a bad idea. Yeah. But then they see where how they would attach, and so then elsewhere, and this is where more we got more stupidity coming. I mean, it's almost like
help us.
Oh my God. So anyway, this woman has been webbed up, and the cops have been apparently they think Spider-Man has been, but patrolling the city and webbing up crooks. But apparently all this woman was a dog walker. And the message that Spider-Man usually leaves is one that is written by somebody with at Brad Douglas's reading comprehension. And
is it the first grade? Or is it the second grade?
And it turns out that it's the puppies are being saved from the web wanging warrior. Web wanging warrior Wreck Web, or no, Wreck Web, Wreck Rap. It's like from that shit. Bad. What was it? Dark Web he was from?
Yes, that's where he came from.
I mean, I can't believe
in the 3, 4, 5 issue miniseries. Like if I had money, it's on it. I guarantee it.
I mean, who was demanding, the return of this character except possibly?
Nick Lowe tells you. The artist was demanding it. He wants to draw.
I know Neil was. Neil was demanding it. Neil? I'm sorry, Neil, but you were. I mean, I know Neil's watching this thing. But Neil was demanding it.
Neil's Rick Rapp to drive a transformer. I mean, come on.
I mean, again, this is something where the I think the writer and the artist they are just being too cute.
Neil is saying that in chat. Neil, shame on you. Yeah. What the heck? Get out of here, Neil. Get out of here.
Oh, we know he is.
All right, keep going, JR.
Back to Norman and Otto. Now, Octavius doesn't believe for a second.
Sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in on his butt that much. Hold on.
Yeah, you did. You knew what you were doing.
Boy, he's a thick boy. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, Jesus, God.
Hey, Josh, get out your quotes, all right?
Oh, I'm typing it.
I mean, when I read Spider-Man comics, for example, I may be drawn to Mary Jane, I may be drawn to Felicia, if they're drawn particularly well. Never felt like I needed to zero in on Doc Ock's ass.
The superior buttocks.
The superior ass. I like Doc Ock and I cannot lie. All the other villains can deny.
All right, Brad.
Little bitty tongue.
All I can say is thank God he didn't zoom in on the frontal shot in last issue.
Now he will at some point.
Anyway, so Doc Ock has downloaded all of the Oscorp's files, and he's basically says he's going to find out what Norman's evil master plan is, expose it, and destroy it. And Osborn goes, "There is no master plan." Of course, Otto doesn't believe it, and when he finally finds out that all Norman's working toward is a electric plasma jet engine. And it's like, who the blank gives a crap out of it? I must admit, I don't know if that really sounds like Otto, but I was kind of amused by this. It's like, who gives a crap about that? And actually, this kind of almost reminded me of the because having a young daughter, I watched a lot of Powerpuff Girls, and I didn't, not necessarily willingly, but their greatest villain was a monkey called Mojo.
Oh yeah.
And one time there was one episode where the Powerpuff Girls were just itching for a fight, so they busted into Mojo's headquarters, and he's sitting there in his recliner watching TV, and it's like, "What's your plan, Mojo?" "No plan." Watching TV, so he's just chilling out watching TV. He's not doing anything evil or planning anything evil. And this is kind of like, well, Otto, there is no evil master plan. And of course, the Norman's trying to convince him how he's reformed, and he's sincerely trying to make up and for what he's done. And Otto says, "Well, we'll see about that." Well, back at where Jonah and
the Odd Couples apartment.
Yeah, actually, I think they have gone to Osborne's. They're in Osborne's apartment now, and I know. And Jonah earlier was being an art critic. He didn't like some of the paintings that Norman had in his house or his apartment. And Peter decides to go ahead after some modifications and attach himself to Doc Ock's arms. However, then at first it seems to go well. But then the arms start bad touching him in all the places that not even that older boy Skip touched him.
Don't you tie this into that?
In that disgusting piece of shit Spider-Man Power Pack comic, an early example of woke media and virtue signaling from 1984.
I had the writer as a guest, JR.
That Marvel created in conjunction with the National Committee for the Prevention of Child Abuse. So anyway, so Peter's being bad touched by Otto's arms.
Coming soon to Spider History.
Bad touch Spider-Man, new action figure.
Yeah.
Where did he touch you? Oh, that sounds so wrong. I'm sorry.
Here we go. All right,
girl, we've been here for 2 hours.
I was about to say it's a good thing that Sarah's mom isn't joining us this time. I don't think, or she might go into some kind of cardiac arrhythmia or whatever. So
no, she went to sleep.
I almost did after you did those calisthenics, JR.
So anyway, so Otto just beating the shit out of Norman right now, and Norman's not fighting back. And Doc wants him to just, instead of Hulk out, he wants him to Goblin out. Again, Norman says, "But I've changed. Why can't you accept that?" And then Otto says, "Because I wasn't allowed to." Well, that triggers something in Otto. Not sure what. I guess we'll have to see in a future issue. Maybe Mike's got a theory. He's usually got some pretty good theories on where the story's going. I have no clue. But so anyway, Doc said, no, I'm not gonna reflect here. If you think you've truly freed yourself for the Goblin, then I'm going to take that away from you. And basically what he does is he says, well, right now Norman is pleading like a little wussy for Doc not to do anything to him. And Doc basically shows him that what he's going to do with him is he's going to expose him to the briefcase from Pulp Fiction. So whatever it was, he took this from Marcellus Wallace, and now Doc Ock has it. So
what was the name of Sam Jackson's wallet? Never mind.
EMF.
Yeah. Okay, so we got.
So anyway,
back at the apartment.
The briefcase from Pulp Fiction makes a comeback. Back to they're in Norman's apartment. Yeah, this is where Jonah's the art critic. He doesn't like Norman's art. And so Spider-Man is busy modifying the arms, and what actually is kind of a cool panel and a good setup where Spider-Man says, "I'm going to remind him that an octopus isn't the only thing with 8 limbs."
The kids in the panel and chat are saying this panel slaps hard. I think that's a compliment.
It is.
Okay.
These young people, I swear,
I see this as a Funko Pop. I see this as an action figure. I see this as a suit in a video game.
Yeah. There's already an Octo Spidey.
Oh, that is right. There is already a Funko. Not with the red arms though.
Not with the red arms. Not with the red arms. So anyway, back to Doc and Norman, and Doc's whining like a little girl or whatever, and Octavius injects him with a glowing green fluid, which I presume is a souped up version of the Goblin formula intended to turn Norman back into the Goblin.
Good.
There we go. So anyway, Norman shoots up, and we have to
go to drugs, kids.
We got to wait till we got one more issue before we move on. We got one more issue of this story arc before we move on to the wedding of Tombstone's daughter and Randy Robertson and the debut of Mary Jane as pathetic looking jackpot. So.
I don't think that's her adjective. JR, what's your grade on this one?
Yeah, I gave it a D.
D? I thought But your boy's going back to mean and green.
No. He's acting like, no. And here's my con. I mean, Norman still has an edge to him, and I honestly believe that if Otto were threatening him, Norman would just sit there and say "F you." I just don't think Norman would be acting like this. I don't think he'd be. I do think, and I think somebody in the chat made the comment that probably Norman is a little less effective because he is sane, or he is trying to stay sane, and he's lost some of his edge. And so he's probably not as quick to catch something like Otto's plans, like he may have been able to do earlier. But I just basically see him telling Otto to go to hell. While Otto's beating him to death. I don't see him, begging and pleading and any of that bullshit. That just
you said offensive. D? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I gave it a D.
All right, Sarah, grade?
C.
Josh?
Ooh, C plus.
Mike?
C minus.
D minus or B?
C.
Oh, C. I was totally up. Craig, what's your grade on this one?
B minus.
B minus. I will give it a B minus also. I liked it a little bit more than JR. JR, pros, what did you like?
Well, I always like it when Peter is presented as the genius that he is.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the picture of him with his arms was really cool. And again, like I've always said, we're long overdue for just a prolonged Norman goblin octopus beatdown. But we didn't, we didn't get it here.
We never got really a hobgoblin, green goblin fight in all these years either. Both in suits.
No. I mean, it's just, like I say, leave money on the table. These are some of the greatest comic book villains ever. And they're just, and it's like, I can't see that somebody isn't saying, oh, wow, this is a really cool opportunity to do something. Just a lot of wasted opportunities. I guess we're again, this is almost like when Slott was plotting, getting to the end is more important than what we do along the way. So
we got some grades in chat. I want to read. Tevia gives it an F because it's not funny, but stupid. Also, I don't like Norman as a wimp. SoFlo gives it a B. Let's see. Neil gives it a B minus, mostly because McGinnis does the Lord's work art-wise.
Parts of the finals look great. I will say that.
Each their own. Neil. I'd take Romita Jr., but C minus from Spider-Fan 2006. Trayvon gives it an F. Oof. Zach gives it a B plus. Josh Nelson gives it a C minus. So great grades all over the place on this one. Any other pros, JR?
Nah.
Okay. Who has some pros? Who'd like to say some?
Here's Mike? The thing. I know JR didn't really like the whole mono dialogue thing going on between Norman and Otto because it seems a little bit, because Norman's kind of like you said, is kind of like cowed and wimpish and everything like this. But there are some things I do like. I do find it interesting how Otto's Doc Ock's why he's doing this. It's almost like the thing that's like, because he says, which is totally fitting. It's like, I was beaten, I can't stand that, so I have to know why. And there was that one line where he says like, what, and it's a nice little kind of example. I will give credit to Wells here doing this. Like, it's almost like a little meta textual commentary. Like, if Norman Osborn is allowed to essentially be redeemed, but why isn't Otto Octavius? Where he says, I wasn't allowed to be, when I tried to be Spider-Man, I wasn't allowed to be the good guy. And then he's like thinking to himself, is that why I'm upset about this? Yeah. Now, could this lead to Doc Ock becoming a superior Spider-Man? But imagine a superior Spider-Man where he doesn't have a fit body. He's basically just Doc Ock in a Spider-Man kind of costume, that pudgy body and all. I'm kind of wondering if that's what what this is going to be leading into, because would be odd, but I could kind of see that maybe that's kind of where Zeb Wells wanted to steer this. They make Otto's like, okay, I'll try to redeem myself as by becoming the superior Spider-Man again, but he's not. But you're not going to see the fit, tone body that you've seen before. It's going to be Doc Ock in that kind of pudgy looking thing, except it's the Superior Spider-Man costume on and with the little all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm wondering if that's where.
Yeah, can't wait to see him and Wreck Rap then go against each other.
Wreck Rap is Wreck Rap a universal con? Everybody not like that?
Oh yeah, I think again, it's just more like, hey kids, remember this guy? You know, your fan favorite that you demanded it, and seriously, apparently up to a lot of people did.
I wish Spider-Boy and Wreck Rap would kill each other. Like just blow each other up. Like I'd buy that issue.
No matter who dies, we win.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I hate Wreck Rap. I hate. Maybe have Gog eat them both. I don't know. Where's Gog? Where is Gog?
Apparently, he's not here. Or
not in this Spider-Verse movie.
That will be one of the big mysteries. I'm sure that will probably be addressed in either the
Gog will be in the wedding party.
You know who's watching Gog? Facade. That's who's watching Gog. That's a deep cut Spider-Man joke. All right, Craig, cons?
Cons or pros?
Oh hell, what pick one? I don't know.
Pros. For an issue
pros.
where
Okay, we're still on pros.
For an issue where there was no fighting, I really enjoyed all of the tense Norman and Doc Ock scenes. It felt very tense. I liked Ock not believing that Norman had turned good. He's like, no, there's an evil plan here. I swear, I'm going to find it. I liked all of that. There was very little of the arms being sentient, which was a big negative for me in the previous issue. So that's why I had this issue higher than the last one. I like the Amazing Fantasy 15 splash page homage, and the scene with the Spidey with the red arms was cool too.
Yep. We got a super chat from Josh. Thank you, Josh. Our first of the night. So Josh says, I was so annoyed by Spidey losing this fight that inspired me to post a top 10 Spider-Man fights article on the site. I miss competent Spidey. Yes, I will pull that up, Josh. Let's take a look at, you did an article. Let's see here.
There's a lot of history of Spider-Man beating a foe that he's beaten before, but that foe has new technology and Spidey losing a fight with them because he's not used to the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It is. Here we go. Right here. Top 10 Spider-Man fights. If you want to check that out, it's on the Crawlspace. Check out Josh's article right there. He did a great job with it. A lot of images. He breaks it down. So head on over to the Crawlspace and check that out if you haven't already. Thanks, Josh, for the super chat. I agree, Venkman. Wreck Rack exists. That's a crime in of itself. Yes, I agree. Do you think the people that like Wreck Rap like Spider-Boy?
Oh, I don't think so. I think it appeals to different sensibilities. I think.
Or does it appeal to the same? I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we probably could go into a little bit on satellites or something, but I'm the guy who kind of thinks after reading, which I'm sure when Kelly gets into the thing, for her review on there, I'm the guy who kind of thinks that Spider-Boy is basically Dan Slott's commentary on the state of Spider-Man itself.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that with satellites.
Yeah. All right.
Any other pros before we move to cons?
Just that new suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new suit.
Like, I love that suit. Like, I was not the big fan of like the yellow spider, the yellow balls on his like forearms, and the yellow eyes and that. But as soon as that showed up, I was like, yes, that looks awesome.
Yeah, that does look good.
New cosplay.
We got another super chat from Josh. Josh wants to know who's worse, Wreck Rap or Paul?
Paul, definitely.
I go Wreck Rap.
Means well.
I go Wreck Rap. I hate him more than Paul.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand Paul, and I can't stand Rabin or Reuben or Rabin or Red Robin, whatever the hell he is. I don't care if he eats burgers.
Wreck Rap is trying to help.
So you like
Paul is not.
You dislike Paul more, right, Craig?
Yes, Paul is not trying to help. Paul's trying to help Paul.
Okay, Mike, Wreck Rap or Paul? Who's worse?
Oh man, that's like trying to pick between. That's like going to Arby's and trying to pick the worst sandwich. Let's see.
That's when you order a fish sandwich. We need a Mike quote. That was a good one.
Oh gosh. Let's see. Well, it's basically like Oh my gosh. Well, Paul's kind of a nothing guy. I mean, he's just more of a plot device. Wreck-Rap is, at least, I guess they're trying to make him a thing. So, I mean, in
Pick
terms
one.
of, okay. I think
answer the question.
I think because if you're talking about an actual character, Wreck-Rap is the worst one. But if you're talking about just actual story terms, Paul is, well, because the only reason I'm saying that is because Paul's not an actual character. He's just a guy. He's just a plot device.
Did you pick one?
Yes, I said Wreck-Rap.
Okay.
Wreck-Rap's an actual character compared to Paul.
I know they both suck, but which one sucks? What has more PSI of suckage?
Oh, Wreck-Rap, definitely, because if you're talking about the worst character, Wreck-Rap is the worst character because Paul's not an actual character.
Yeah.
There we go.
Josh, PSI, who has more suckage?
Yeah, just writing that down in the chat.
I know you were.
Okay.
What's your answer, Josh?
Paul. I dislike Paul beyond measure. Yeah.
JR, Wreck-Rap, or Paul?
I think Wreck-Rap is worse because he's just a gimmick. He's just one of those things that somebody out there thinks is cool, and they're going to keep shoving him in until we all agree, yes, this is cool. Nobody's trying to make Paul happen, so that's not as irritating as, them trying to make whatever his name is happen,
Sarah, Recrap or Paul?
I think Paul is worse. I find Wreck-Rap a little funny. It's ridiculous, of course, but I'm not a fan of Paul.
Would you buy a Wreck-Rap mini? That's a yes. That's a yes.
Well, let's see here.
You know what Wreck-Rap is? Wreck-Rap is the Scrappy Doo of Spider-Man.
He is.
Yeah.
He's cousin Oliver.
Or he's the Batmite of Spider-Man.
I swear, youth is wasted on the wrong people.
All right. Any other cons, or did we ever get the cons? JR, has nothing been any cons not been said before we wrap it up? Okay, I want to get your opinion before we wrap it up on this, gang, from everyone. If you go to Crawlspace, if you go to the front page, I posted this last night. Ms. Marvel is back from the dead 2 months later.
Oh, I am so shocked.
The most shocking death the most shocking death in 50 years has been retconned in 2 months. Ms. Marvel is joining the X-Men with a series called Ms. Marvel: The New Mutant. You didn't have to be Mike to predict this one. We saw this one coming a mile away.
Oh, everybody did. I mean, this was a foregone. I mean, this was pretty much a foregone conclusion that when this thing first got spoiled on the internet, a lot of people the only reason they're doing this is because we all know she's going to be brought back as a mutant because we want to trade Branson. And
if you look, Entertainment Weekly got their exclusive. Finally, they got their exclusive. So they were the ones that first put this out, and then Marvel sent out the press release to everyone that's on their email list, including me. So here's Entertainment Weekly got their exclusive. Ooh, I don't want to show the video. Stop the video. God bless America. There you go. Anyway, the actress who portrays Kamala Khan will be co-writing it. Written by, is that her? Sabir?
No, it's Iman.
Iman is the actress who plays her in the TV show.
Yep.
Co-writing it with Sabir. There's a nice picture of them at a comic shop. I don't think that was attached on the press release. But if you're not following X-Men comics, and why would you if you're not Neil? I know you're watching, Neil. Watch Neil's X-Men show. Yeah. I can't take X-Men Fantasy Island. I just can't do it. After 30 years, I dropped it. But anyway, X-Men can now die multiple times and get reborn. They're like video cameras. They're like video game
characters. Yes.
Yeah. So imagine Mario with multiple lives. So X-Men can come back multiple times. So at the end of Ms. Marvel's show on MCU, she said she's a mutant. She's got a new movie coming out, so obviously she can regenerate and get better. So what are your thoughts, panel, of Ms. Marvel coming back? JR.
Well, you know, I have never had an objection to Ms. Marvel as a character, particularly even with the TV show, because like I've said, it's Disney. You're not going to have a female teenage superhero, you know, and you know, I mean, there are like what 1.8 billion people who live on the Indian subcontinent, you know, but this is what she always should have been. She should have been part of a team and be slowly developed, give her a personality, give her, you know, some adventures, you know, have her interact with people and develop a character and then try to launch her, you know. But you know, of course they didn't. They're trying to make her happen and it's not working. And actually, you know, they should have done something like this with her earlier, to be honest. So
does it the use of Amazing Spider-Man for this to happen?
Well, we talked about.
I know, but the level of Marvel dishonesty in the solicits of the most shocking death in 50 years, it happening in Amazing Spider-Man, it really just gives me a bad taste.
Well, when you think about it, though, I mean, when you think about how like TV, how many old, well, I don't know if they do this as much anymore, but how many old TV shows do you remember like you would watch and then all of a sudden the focus would shift to these characters who weren't part of the show and you'd never seen before. And it was like, obviously this was a backdoor pilot, you know,
yes. Gary 7, Star Trek.
Yeah. And it's like, so, you know, that they would use Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it is probably, you know, I guess in a way I can see it, but the thing is, but none of the relationships were earned. It wasn't earned. The relationship, you know, the relationship between Peter and Kamala, or you know, everybody sitting there boohooing over her dying or whatever. I mean, none of that was earned.
It wasn't.
I mean, in fact, I could even see her as being a supporting character working at Oscorp.
I agree
with Peter. You know, again, make us like this girl. You know,
and also all the bad marketing, as we explained on the last ASM show, Kelly eloquently did it with all the flubs and potentially unintentional flubs from Marvel of what they did to this character, when they killed her, how they killed her, how offensive it was to some, and the leak. Just this was just fumbled so bad, and I don't think anybody's happy about it. I don't think that. Go, Mike. What?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say, I mean, going off of that point, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, you can say this is a course correction by making Miss Marvel mutant, which they said that they wanted to make her all along, but they just hired her to do the Inhumans. And also, yeah, and having the actress who played her in the show helping to write the character, that's a nice little, you know, selling point. But yeah, I think that the way this was handled, the marketing around this, the way that the Kamala steps happened, how it happened, how everybody pretty much realized this is just a cynical ploy to just try to create some brand imagery. I think that's it. Just and again, it just shows you just the depths of Marvel would have sunk in order to do this. And I think and you said it just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It's gonna sour people your potential readership who maybe you have wanted maybe pick up a Miss Marvel comic. It's going to sour them on this. It's also going to sour them on I actually want to see the Marvel's movie and Marvel did this to themselves. They have no one else to blame for this if they get any kind of low results on this thing. I'm sure that people are going to, you know, obviously they want to pick like, oh, they're going to get to work a bunch of copies to pick up the Marvel series and everything. But if if based on the reaction I'm seeing from some folks over this, it's just how that this is just kind of like that this was just wow, what a cynical ploy this was. That Marvel brought this on themselves, and if they get negative pushback on it, they deserve it in this case because of they got.
Netta says current ASM writer and editor really thought that they can compete with the classic The Night When Stacy Died by what they wrote in the solicitations, which is very just. That's almost setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah,
that's one of the most ridiculous parts. Like, not only do you ruin this character, right, for absolutely no reason in someone else's book, and it got and then not to mention, you know, that it got leaked and everything, and it's just it's terrible, it's awful, it's disgraceful, it makes me angry. And then when you'll see in our next episode reading the Fallen Friend Death of Miss Marvel, it just makes the whole situation even worse after seeing the revamp of her or whatever as a New Mutant.
Yeah, this got fumbled hard, like in every sense of the way they did. However, and I hope they actually do use the actress in the co-writing, because there's certain actors in the MCU that I think really do get their characters, like how Tom Holland vouched for how No Way Home should end with that final swing scene. Like that was Tom Holland vouching for that. Okay, you understand Spider-Man. If you've seen any interview with Mon Vellani, she is Ms. Marvel. Like she is exactly that character. If we can have her input guiding this character for the future, okay, yeah, I'm on board with bringing her on as a co-writer.
That's cool. Craig, what's your thoughts on it?
I feel like I said, the Fallen Friend issue just came out this week, and the same week we get this notice saying that, oh, she's going to be alive again. So if you're a Miss Marvel fan and you see this issue on the stand, you think like, oh my God, she died? I had no idea. I should buy this. Oh wait, I just saw on my phone she's coming back to life in a few months. So why should I buy this Fallen Friend issue? Because her death is meaningless. It just, you know, like everyone's already said, like how,
you know, the argument could be made that Gwen Stacy's death was meaningless because we have Spider-Gwen back. I mean, she's
50 years later.
Yeah, but and also the other thing is too, Spider-Gwen is supposed to be kind of more of a testament for Gwen's legacy as a character. This was just more like I said, this was more like, oh, we're trying to. The only reason they did this because they wanted to create brand synergy between the comics and the MCU, and also get more people to actually read Miss Marvel, hoping that because of the stink that the Inhumans had on as a franchise, thanks to what the debacle that they had happened there, trying to make them the next big thing, it didn't work, and now we're trying to get. So I think it's just there's a more. This one here is more kind of, there is, like I said, cynical is the right word for this. This is just this just comes across as being, it's just a poorly conceived marketing ploy that just blew up in their face, and it's, you know, which is a shame, because
all right, let's go around the horn for final thoughts. Craig, final thoughts.
Well, my internet seemed to have fixed itself in the last 15-20 minutes.
It did. You're much better.
Apologize for the first half hour.
Okay,
no idea what's going on here, but I enjoyed this month's issues. Like I said, I didn't like the creepy sentience of the tentacles, but other than that, the issues are pretty good. Give me more of this and not most of the other stuff that Zells has been giving us in his run, and I could be happy. I don't know.
That was like a question mark.
Maybe happy with this run. I don't know.
I'm
Happier.
Happy. Yeah, I don't know. Mike, final thoughts.
Okay, I think we have a new mystery box going on, because what is Jonah's obsession with inanimate objects? Because we got the thing with the Doc Ock arms. There's that weird dinosaur thing. Not to mention that thing that happened in Dark Web, where that basically
the bed
with the Pee-wee's Playhouse bed too. Yeah. I mean, that was like, so yeah. He's got apparently he's got a thing for you know inanimate objects that act like people or something. I don't know what it is.
If you could give Jonah a date with anyone in the Marvel universe, because he needs a girl, who should he date, Mike?
Oh, let's see. Well, there's plenty of. Let's see. You got. Well,
Anna
if
Watson.
we're going on the theme, Jocasta. She's a robot.
Jocasta.
I mean,
there it
the way
is.
things are going now. I mean,
Jocasta.
Jocasta. Okay. The way things are going right now.
Anybody else can anybody top Jocasta for Jameson? Her name would be Jocasta Jameson if they got married. The JJ.
Yes.
The synergy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Final thoughts, Sarah.
I am interested to see the fight that'll happen between Spider-Man with Ock arms and Doc Ock. I think that's going to be real cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Comics says Lady Ock, she's all hands. Yeah, there you go, Mr. Comics. Oh, there you go. That's perfect. That's a good one. Josh says he hopes that I'm going to add the Rec Rap series to the satellite show. You know I will, but you got to pay for it.
And you'll give it to me.
Yeah, I probably will. You deserve it because you deserve it. You said you like that piece of Rec Crap. Josh, final thoughts.
Thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Always a pleasure to watch JR almost like combust as he's doing one of these reviews. So, I love to watch that happen live and be a part of this. It's honestly a touching moment, and I will never forget it. So, thank you.
Almost like he was touching his toes earlier. JR was. JR, Mr. Exercise, if you will. Final thoughts.
I don't have any clever final thoughts about the Spider-Man. I can't think of anything original to say. So I think I'll leave my final thought as wishing Sarah's mother well.
Oh,
so
that's really nice.
Thank you.
All right.
We've got more show. If you enjoyed this, we've got some new people coming in, some other people going out. We've got Spider Satellites available on our Patreon. If you want to sign up, these are the books that we're going to talk about. That Fallen Friend, Death of Ms. Marvel. Wonder if she gets better. See the press release where she does. Tyler's going to join us, wrapping up the Carnage Reign miniseries. We've got Daredevil and Echo. Why? Because we have the Demogoblin in there. Isn't that Harry Osborn's ex? Who's the Demogoblin now?
Oh, good
What's her
question.
name?
I didn't know the Demogoblin was the Demogoblin.
Lily. It's not Lily Hollister, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Lily Hollister. I haven't read it.
Really?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I think it's
Wow.
Lily, but who's reviewing that one? I don't have the doc in front of me.
Demogoblin is from Infinity War, isn't it?
Actually, Mike, I think it's you. Aren't you reviewing that issue?
I'm reviewing the Miles book, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Who's
yes, I
reviewing
am.
that one?
The Miles Morales book with the Hobgoblin coming back. That's me.
Where's my doc? Neil.
Reed?
Neil's doing that one. Neil will answer the question:
Neil,
who the
Neil.
hell is the Demogoblin in this one?
Right.
Kelly is going to review Spider-Man number. I think this is 9 or is it 10?
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's number 10. I think we're on now. Yeah.
Oh, Tyler just DM'd me. Demogoblin is Shriek, Carnage's girlfriend. Okay, my bad. My
Ooh,
bad. Shriek.
okay.
Shriek is the Demogoblin in that series. That's why we're reviewing it. Neil is going to tackle Silk number 2, Miles Morales versus Hobgoblin. We've got the Hobby back, which is an homage cover to Amazing Spider-Man 238. We've also got the surprisingly good Red Goblin, aka Grandpa Norman, in that book, which is surprisingly really good. We've got Extreme Venomverse. Tyler will wrap that one up. Also, David Michelinie's last issue of Venom Lethal Protector. It's the 3rd series of that. We've got Venom, I think 20, and Web of Carnage. Carnage versus Moreland. So we're going to review that one. So if you want to watch that show live, we're going to be on in about 5 minutes. We're running a little bit late. But we'll be on at patreon.com/crawlspace, and you can watch that. JR, are you going to tune in for all that goodness?
Well, I kind of wore myself out with my exercising. So, I probably will have to go to bed and,
sleep for 8 to 10 hours. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I kind of wore myself out. So, pulled a couple of muscles.
Where's Kelly? Is she done with ASM? She's on the fence. She didn't want to review these two, but she's back on Satellites in just a few minutes. She's I don't blame her. She's kind of burnt out from these books. It's not easy to do on some of these books. So anyway, I hope you sign up for patreon.com. It helps me pay the bills, and we will be back in just a few minutes. So I hope you will join us.